Tara Misseldine, and my co-host, Amanda Kingsley. Today, we are going to team up and take you on a journey where freedom's cultivated through personal development, where women connect to fuel their futures, and where wealth is created as a byproduct of being well. Hello, Amanda.
Hello, hello.
So today on this episode, we are going to be talking about what is spirited growth. It's something that's insanely important to both you and I. But before we dive into that conversation, why don't we start with our gratitudes?
I have a really easy one because we spent an entire day yesterday with a good friend from high school. He was here. I rolled out of bed. We drank coffee. We went for a walk. We played games. It was just anyway, it was just a lovely, lovely day with a dear old friend. So my gratitude is old friends who just feel like, you cannot see them for a year or months. And all of a sudden it's like everything's perfect again.
That is awesome. I also love when that happens.
Yeah, it was so good.
My gratitude today is feeling very concrete because I'm looking at your beautiful face on a gorgeous new iPad Pro. Which was a gift from a very generous family member. We love you, Joelle Misseldine. So I'm pretty excited. I've been having some issues with my laptop. And she's a very successful tattoo artist. So anybody who lives or wants to travel to the central Connecticut area, she's a wonderful tattoo artist, and she upgraded hers, and I got lucky enough to get her very new old one.
Nice.
Super grateful. So bear with me, anybody, if I accidentally screw something up because I don't completely know the controls on this device yet. well, hopefully I don't screw it up. So we're going to talk about spirited growth today.
Spirited growth. Yeah. So let's talk about the combination of these two words, which evolved from the Y retreat we did. Well, I mean, it evolved long before. Well, actually, my head is swirling. But I was going to say it evolved before that. But it was at the Y retreat in March that I realized that my Y was growth and not freedom, which it had been for many, many years. So we do have an episode coming up. We will have one coming up in which we talk about what the Y word is in much more detail. But you can head to my website. You can learn lots more about the Y word. But spirit is a super duper duper important word to Tara. And growth is a super duper important word to me. So important that it just feeds our soul and
it's the word.
It's the word. It fuels us to live the lives that we live. And so we realized after the retreat in March how important the combination of these two words was and how much we wanted to share with our local community everything we believed about, well, not everything, but everything we could fit into one day. About how we live our lives in a way that we are able to balance being a mom and working and growing and living lives that just feel the best that they can, and this concept of balance. So we've talked about balance before on the show too. Do you remember it? That was a while ago, I feel like.
Yeah, quite a while ago.
I feel like that was at the beginning. But for us, this concept of balance really plays into what we are and who we do. And it's this idea that maybe balance doesn't come in equality, which I think is what trips people up on the word balance a lot, is that it doesn't mean equal. It doesn't mean fair. It doesn't mean exercise gets this portion of your attention and nutrition gets this portion of your attention and money gets this
pyramid of life. Yes.
It's just there is an awareness and an intention and a purpose in your life that includes all of these things. And you may have months or weeks or years where your health is really good. And then you may have months or weeks or years where your money is really good. But so there are seasons in which balance changes a little. It shifts and it moves. But for me, the real concept is that we have this we live these purposeful lives in which we're aware of all the parts. And then we live all those parts with as much spirit and as much growth as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what you and I do.
Can I share a really cool kind of metaphor about balance?
Wait.
My mother and I actually came up with this several years ago. She was in the midst of a divorce, and I was rapidly growing a business, and so we were talking about balance and how she had always envisioned, like life balance, work-life balance as like equalizing them on a scale.
Right.
We're like, that's not the way that it is.
No.
It's like, you are a gymnast that's finding your balance by shifting your weight and priorities, like on a balance beam, or like on a balance board or something like that. So it's micro adjustments at all times to make yourself feel grounded and balanced. It's not balancing on a scale, but it's always shifting and changing. So it's like a shifting of the elements of your life so that you feel safe and balanced. It's not about externally making things equal.
I love that gymnast example, because like imagine a gymnast who engaged all of her muscles equally at the same time. Like nothing's gonna happen. You just stop moving, basically. You're a statue. You're now a statue, not a gymnast.
Exactly.
So balance is about finding the beauty in shift, in using one muscle at one time and one muscle at another time. I mean, all the muscles, but you're never not using any of the muscles. Like there's almost never a time where something's completely disengaged.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love that muscle gymnast analogy. That's really awesome.
I wanted to share that before you went on, because I'm such a visual person. So whenever I image to a concept,
I love that. And I grew up, we both are in New England, so for me it's like also just the seasons, sometimes we are anywhere you live, like there's rainy season and there's cooler season and there's warmer season, and that's how you get the complete year, and that's how you get the life cycles, right? The life cycles, it's not like you can't have all sun all day every day, and you can't have all rain all day every day. Like it's a shift and a balance to create the big picture. But anyway,
see, that's a great segue.
So that's what we really wanted to be able to share with people, and we did create a summit based on this entire concept, because we wanted to spend a whole day with people, like an entire, full morning, full afternoon, lunch together experience where we could talk about this, because it's really interesting, right? And there might be people who are like, oh, cool, I'm getting all these ahas, but now what? Right? And we wanted to give people tools for the now what. So now what do you do? How do you actually find that balance in your life? What are the important parts? And for us, the important parts just always come back around to health, wealth, love, community, and creativity. Oh, wait, did I miss one? Health, wealth, love, community, creativity. No, that's all of them. And so those being the 5, like if you call them the 5 seasons or the 5 muscles or the whatever, they're like the 5 important things for a life well lived. And we love this podcast. We love bringing in guest experts. We love sharing with you all we know and learned, but we really wanted to have sort of an expert in each category. So we found 3 other experts so that 5 of us could really give the participants of that day all of the well, not all of, again, I keep saying all of as if there is such a thing as all of, which there is not, but enough tools in each of those categories so that they could really perfect, or again, all these like big words I'm using, so that they could really play with the art of finding balance through health, wealth, love, community, and creativity. So we do now have 5 experts. We do now have an entire summit devoted to this concept of finding balance and really just playing with all these elements in our lives. And in addition to Tara and I, we have 3 incredible speakers. So we have Erica Ballard to talk about health. And she is, if you have not found Erica Ballard yet on Instagram, you have to. She is just so fun and so spunky and so energized and passionate about health in this way that it just, like, I'm not a person who, if there were a place in my life that needed more balance, it would be health. I'm like generally gifted with pretty good health, so I don't put a ton of energy into it, other than eating well and some exercise. But she makes me want to like think in like just really a really fun way about health. And health is our most important asset, right? It's like the thing that we sustain our lives on. If we don't have our health, we have nothing. So Erica makes it super fun, super easy. She's not going to get out there and be like, stop eating gluten and stop eating, you know, like all these hard, fast rules. She makes everything achievable and accessible and energized so that you want to take care of who you are, so that you love who you are. And she's so, so fun. So find her on Instagram if you haven't.
And also listen to episode 43, where Amanda did a really good interview, like really in-depth interview with Erica on this podcast. So it aired June 25th, episode 43.
43. Thank you. I did not have that number prepared, so you rock. Another person we are bringing to you at the Spirited Growth Summit is Laura Towns. And Laura has a beautiful relationship with wealth and money. And one of my favorite things about her is that she just talks so openly and freely and passionately about money in a way that for a lot of us, well, I would argue that almost all of us desire more money in our life for one reason or another. Whether we are pretty well off and striving for more, or we're struggling a little bit and just really needing to find some security. And many of us have been sort of trained in this culture to have all kinds of stories and feelings around that. Maybe guilt, maybe shame, maybe defeat, maybe all kinds of stuff. And Laura, when you talk to her about money, she just like washes all that away. And you're like, money, what a cool tool. Like, I'm going to get more of it. That's how I feel around her. She just is so open and loving and free flowing in her relationship with money. And we really wanted her to be able to share that with the participants at the Spirited Growth Summit. So I'm super duper excited to bring her. Who else do we have? We have my very,
you know that there will be a detailed interview with Laura that goes live in about 2 weeks from now.
Yes, thank you. There will be. So the other guest expert who we're bringing in, and of course, Tara and I are each going to talk about our favorite things. Mm-hmm. But the other guest expert we're bringing in is Jen Heilman, who I work very intimately with in my coaching, in my life coaching work. We do a lot of life coaching work together. And the reason we do so much work together is because a lot of the work that I do comes from within. It's like, what's inside of you that we can investigate, explore, talk about, and then express to the world in a way that feels good to you so that you're getting the results you want in your life. So a lot of mindset, a lot of thought work, a lot of goals and vision setting. And Jen works from the outside. So she works with feng shui, and perhaps Tara knows what episode her interview was.
Episode 37 back in May.
Episode 37. You can listen to more about the work that Jen does with feng shui. But feng shui is like an ancient wisdom of the placement of objects. So she really talks about all the work we're doing with our health, with our wealth, with our mindset, with the way we practice creativity or love. All of that is so super important. But if we don't pay attention to the placement of things in our homes and our offices and our lives, we can be self-sabotaging everything we're committing to.
Yeah, and really making sure that energy can flow in, out, collect at the right speed in the right places and the right, that kind of thing, right? So like the placement of objects affects the flow and processing of the energy in our space.
Yeah, right. It's so amazing. So she will have clients who, let's say they are just dating and trying to find love in their life and commitment and compassion and passion. And she will help them see their space. And all of a sudden they realize that they have a picture, a painting of a single woman alone in the field in their love area. And she's like, if we move that painting, maybe replace it with one with two people, things might shift for you. And that is the power of feng shui. They shift. It is so wild and crazy. We've talked about some of my trips to China on this podcast, and that was just one of my absolute favorite things about being in China was the placement of objects and how intentional and powerful. And, every garden is just so meticulously ordered and centered so that energy flows in the direction that you want your life to go. So whether that be prosperity or love, or in our case, a balance of it all. So Jen's going to talk to us about, she's going to talk to us about creativity from her perspective of feng shui. So she's going to talk about the ways that we use our own creativity to really make our lives feel like us, right? To express ourselves through our lives with whatever we do, whether that's our work or our parenting or actually an art. Maybe it's an art like writing or painting. Yeah. But how do we set up our spaces and experience life so that we can express who we are into the world? So that is our other expert. And the beautiful expert across from me on the computer, Tara, is going to talk. Tara's going to talk to us about community, because actually that is one of the reasons that I was so drawn to Tara in the first place many, many years ago, was she has just such a beautiful ability to connect people and be part of, networks and create just space and community with people. And she is a master at that in lots of ways, particularly through your work with the elements. So
yeah, the elements and archetype stuff really has a lot of power in our relationships and how we show up and how we're perceived.
Yes.
And in your Y program, the community and relationships is one of the 5 elements of a healthy and fulfilled life. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. And I'm so excited because I love about that stuff.
And I mean, it's like you could argue each of these things. Oh no, that's the most important thing. No, that's the most important thing. No. And that's the whole point, is that they're all so important that we have to find this balance. Because a life without healthy relationships, whether that's like your immediate family or your extended family or your friends or your community or your world, like if that is out of balance because you don't understand who you are or the kinds of other people there are in the world, it can be like it's going to lead to a very lonely life. So That is so, so important for a life well lived. And I am going to talk about love. I'm going to talk about the passion and fuel and energy and golden center that we all have within us, and how we use that to express ourselves with love, to give and receive love, to experience a love-filled life. So it's going to be freaking amazing.
Absolutely. And I wanted to sort of reiterate another comment that you made, that all 5 of these things are so important. And I think it's also because they are all connected. I think every single one of us is going to speak a little bit to how health in the area that we are talking about will improve things in every other area. None of them are disparate from one another. Just like the seasons, you won't ever have fall without then going into winter and then going into spring. And each of them sort of sets the world up for the next. So I think that's super important, that they're all important because they are all just pieces of the entire picture, pieces of the
And
whole.
what's that quote? A rising tide lifts all boats, or
yes, yep. All boats rise in a high tide.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the concept to me. Like, you can, by bringing your attention and focus and intention to even just one of these pieces, everything else rises with it. Mm-hmm. So you never want to completely ignore one of these elements, one of these pieces, but by bringing your focus and intention to just one at a time, everything else rises. And that's what we want to teach you how to do. There will be, in our packed house for this summit, there will be people who walk away focusing on their health, people who walk away focusing on love. Mm-hmm. And some of those people will have predicted what they're going to go in focusing on, and some it will have completely shifted based on the information and tools that they've learned. So it's really fascinating. But when we bring attention to any of this, it's all going to rise and improve in your life. And these are tools that are going to last a lifetime. That's what's most exciting to me, is that you walk away with tools that you can use every single day, every single moment, every single decision, every single challenge. And you lean back into the tools that you learned from these amazing women on this awesome day.
Yes, from us. And we can't wait to be with you all. I think we've been so excited ever since launching this podcast to find a way to get more, personally involved and meet some of the people who listen to this podcast regularly. So I'm just going to state that it's going to be worth flying in for if you have to. So
it's going to be an amazing day.
Show up in Northampton on November 3rd. Please do. If you need to stay over, reach out to one of us. We can give you support and resources where to stay, and make some connections. I'm the community girl, so feel free to reach out to me and we'll make those connections happen. But we would love to see you. I mean, we've gotten messages and whatnot from some of our amazing listeners that they would love to get together, and so would we. That's why we're putting this together. So definitely reach out if you need support on that, and we hope to see you. So Amanda, let's give the rest of the details about
so November 3rd, 2018 in Northampton, Mass, which is sort of central to where Tara and I are. It's actually, kind of the center of where we met. This is not
yes, indeed.
So November 3rd, and the summit will last all day. So I don't even have the times here, but I think it's 9 to 5-ish.
Yes.
And we will have a lunch break. Some of us will be eating lunch together, which you have an opportunity to do. So reach out to us if you would like to have lunch with us and the other amazing speakers. And you can reserve your seat and just check out more details. Read more about this concept and what we'll be talking about. We decided to build the webpage on my website. So if you go to amandastarkingsley.com/spirited dash growth,
Yes.
you will find the Spirited Growth Summit. But if you just go to amandastarkingsley.com, it's quite obvious in the menu where the summit details are. So go ahead and reserve your seat. You do not want to miss this. Early bird pricing is still in effect. This summit is crazy inexpensive for what you're going to walk away with.
For real.
Like kind of laughing at us how inexpensive it is, but we really wanted it to be accessible to everyone. And if you gather up a group of girlfriends who you want to bring with you, you get an even better rate by buying 5 tickets. So there's so many ways to attend this. There is nothing stopping you. Reach out to us if we can help you get those tickets purchased in any way, or if you have questions. But we are pumped. It's going to be here so soon. It's going to be.
Gosh, I know. It's already, we've been planning this for months. I think you had this idea like
in March.
Driving home from the Y.
Totally.
So we've literally been building this for already almost 6 months.
Yeah.
I could not be more excited though. This is going to be one of the highlights of my year. I'm already sure of that.
So grab your ticket. Come play with us in person in the beautiful town of Northampton, Mass on November 3rd. We look forward to seeing you. And I think the ask for me is just go check out the page, see how it feels. Share this podcast with a friend if you have somebody who might also be interested in the summit or this concept of balance. Invite a friend to the summit with you, because there's no better way to go home and institute what you, or is that the right word? And implement in whatever the word is, what you've learned, than to do it with a friend. Like, oh my gosh, that thing they talked about, I'm doing it and it's working, right? That is so exciting. And that's how you build momentum. So invite a friend, bring a friend. We can't wait to see you. That's my ask. Same.
I will just reiterate that. That's exactly how I feel. Find a way to get yourself there. And help us share it, please. This is going to be a gift that can help transform someone's lives. So invite them.
Great. All right. Thank you, Tara. Thank you, everybody.